Republicans blocked President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, in 2016. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Fox News Channel. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. When it really counts, depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be humid with clouds and a little sunshine. Look for a thunderstorm this afternoon, high 86 to 90. Partly cloudy and humid tonight with a couple of showers, low 67 to 73. Then a less humid day Wednesday with a mix of clouds and sunshine and a high of 79 to 83. Mostly sunny and pleasant Thursday, high 80 to 84. Another nice day Friday with sun and some clouds and a high of 78 to 82. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The Farm Service Agency reminds farm owners that September the 30th is a deadline to update your price loss coverage, your PLC program yields for covered commodities on the farm. This is a one-time opportunity for producers to update your yields, which will be used to calculate the 2020 through 2023 payments. Don't miss this one-time opportunity to update your yields according to FSA officials. Please contact your FSA county office to schedule an appointment. Updating yields requires the signature of one owner on the farm and not all owners. If the yield update is not made, no action is required to maintain the existing base crop yield on file with FSA. Remember now, for program payments, updated yields will apply beginning with 2020 crop year should payments are triggered by low prices. Additionally, recent published updates on the payment limits and eligibility for Farm Bill program do not impact the payments for PLC for the 2019 crop year or the 2020 crop year. So be sure to call your FSA office. Make sure you got your yields updated for the 2020 through 2023 crops.
Attention farmers, the Conservation Stewardship Program is now accepting applications. To learn more, visit your local USDA Service Center.
Hi, I'm Greg Peterson of the Peterson Farm Brothers. If you've seen our videos, you know we're proud to be farmers. Farming can be dangerous. Never assume location or depth of underground utilities or pipelines. Before you start any work on your farm, call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com to have underground lines located. It only takes a minute and can save your life.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
WOCA. Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line and a new spoiler and a new truck.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
People ask me why I've worked at Palm Garden for so long, and I tell them it's the people. I love to hear the life stories, especially those from the greatest generation. Celebrating life stories is what sets Palm Garden apart, finding out what's important to them. And I love being a resource. Like Macy's Santa, if I can't help, I'll send them to Gimbel's. After all, Palm Garden is located on 34th Street. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. Call me and let's chat. 854-6262.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
That time means, as welcome back to AM Ocala Live, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source, broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA at The Source Radio, in the garden with Carol Ann Baldwin in the studio. Good morning, girl.
Good morning, good morning.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Can't get on the Wi-Fi, but my phone will. My laptop won't. My laptop forgot where it was.
Now, I know where I am, and I'm excited because I'm looking at the last day and a half left here of September, and then we get into the new month of October. And with that in mind, we've got a big weather change coming.
We have chilly weather.
A big weather change coming.
It is.
As it's going to get chilly. We got an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, I've been telling the listeners today. That's expected to be more later in the afternoon into tonight as the front moves through.
It says about 1:15 this afternoon.
Yeah, and it's going to carry on to move everything out as far as this hot, sticky, subtropical weather to bring us, as this cold front moves its way out, basically a little change with the winds to the north and get a little cooler tonight. Low of 61 and just in the upper 70s tomorrow. Maybe crack 80, just maybe for the high tomorrow, but it's going to be so much more dry.
Right.
And with it being more dry, it's going to feel, it's just going to feel incredible. And then the low for Wednesday night, some people aren't thrilled about it, but it's going to get down in the 50s, as they're saying, upper 50s, 58 for the low Wednesday night. Right. So I don't know if you've noticed this or not. I gotta really dig deep to do my research here, but if I look back, I want to say since about May, it felt like when we would finish a month where it was the last day of the month, it would rain, and the next day would be nice. Like it's as if we had rain to cleanse out the month. It feels like it did that. It did that in June, and I'm pretty sure it did that in July. I'm trying to think if it did it in August, this last month, but it has rained the last day of the month, or at least had some tumultuous weather to come really through. Now for the drier season, I paid more attention to it because we were dry for the month of May, and then we got rain, and then it brought in June, and but here we are again, some more rain. Like I said, it's like,
well, usually, I mean, our cooler temperatures, and then once we actually hit winter months, the cold fronts. I mean, this is considered a cold front that's coming through. So I mean, it's not gonna hang around.
No.
I mean, but our temperatures are changing. It is the end of September.
Yeah.
So the temperatures are changing. The humidity is down.
Right, which the majority of the temperatures now is average is about low 80s, right?
Right. But it's funny. I saw on the it was like watching the news, and they said, we're doing the weather, and they're saying, the average high at this time is still in the mid 80s. Now this was an Orlando station.
Yeah.
So but you only take off 2 to 3 degrees for us. Here, even though, sometimes apparently yesterday they had hellacious rain down there.
Yeah.
And we had at my house a shower.
Well, what about Sunday? Did you get a bunch of rain on Sunday? It was bad.
It had rained at my house, but my rain gauge had barely moved.
Oh, no. Like Sunday afternoon it gave you the feelings of like some kind of tropical something
imminent something getting ready to.
It was probably the heaviest rain I've had to drive in a long time. Like for that long period of time, we were coming back from Citrus County up 200, and it was just, I mean, it was an onslaught where everybody was slowing down for a long time, slowing down in the 30-mile-an-hour range because of how heavy the rains were. I mean, it was heavy.
Yeah, no, over here. No, and I worked, and what time did I get off? I got off at like 5 on Sunday. And so I was at work all the afternoon, drove home, but when I got home, it was like, oh, look, it had rained because it had not at work. And then we had some, but at my house, it really registered nothing in the rain gauge. And, then did get some, like I said yesterday, I mean, I had to dump some out of saucers of plants that I don't want sitting in water. But,
Yeah.
Otherwise, they could have sat there because in case it's dry for another few days.
Right.
It's okay. But
which will be here for the remainder of the week. That's for sure.
Right. The cooler weather coming through. And see, we do have change of season.
Yeah.
It is fall. It is.
Right,
Realize, just because you're going, well, this isn't what it feels like up north. Well, no, you're in Florida. Yeah, come on.
Yep.
This is fall for us. And for those, live here a couple years, or at least spend a summer.
Yeah.
And then realize the difference in the temperatures. I remember as a teenager spending the summer down in South Florida and going back home in August, getting ready to go back to school in early September, and everybody's going out for the evening, and I'm grabbing a flannel shirt because everybody else is laughing at me. And I said, "Yeah, but I just spent the summer in Florida. It's cold."
Yeah.
So.
Because when I was in Ohio there just weeks ago, the 2 days, well, the day we were leaving, it got down into, and that's cold. It was 42 for the low when we were leaving, and we got up early to get to the airport and stuff, and took the shuttle, and I held a cup of coffee with my hands because it was cold.
It's a bit chilly.
And understand that, like, it feels like in most cases, the 40-degree range is an odd range because it's cold, because it's usually damp. Because it's
your humidity levels are
you get below 30 degrees and something, it kind of dries out. To get that cold, it dries it out a little bit. If you think about upper 50s and 60s, even if it's a little moist out, it's still like, all right, it's just a little cool, right? 40s to me was always lousy.
Because that's that you're right. It is that in between. Yeah. Is it just cold, or is it?
Yeah, and I was freezing. I was cold, and they're like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I was like, "Come on,
I live in Florida.
When I lived in Ohio for most of my life, and it was 40s, I was still putting on a jacket and long pants, going, "It's cold." And they're like, "What are you anemic?" I'm like, no, you don't set your house to this temperature to be able to just live in it and then have 2 layers of clothes on. No. But nonetheless, if you're just joining us, in the garden with Carol Ann, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin in the studio. For anybody who's got any questions, as we're moving into a different growing season,
right, we are.
Give us a call, 622-9622, to get all your questions answered. And, of course, we started off with talking a little bit of weather, the season change. We're seeing that a little bit. With that weather change or the season change, we see a little bit different avenue of different maybe plants to pot or to even plant. And then I wanted to bring up a little bit about, for this time of year, what does it mean for fruit trees down here in Florida when I think citrus? Because we know that in September it's the month to pick some apples.
Right.
You see that already in the local grocery that you've got an onslaught of different types.
Apples are actually going on sale at this time of year because actually they're coming out of the cold storage and the new ones are going into storage.
Oh, is that
apples
right?
Apples can keep for a year.
They can keep a long time,
they can
right?
Keep for a year.
Which, by the way, we grew up picking apples, loved it, and it was always kind of like the same avenue. We would, we'd go to the orchard and we pretty much get around the same types of apples. We always had Golden Delish, we always had some Red Delish, we always had maybe every now and then be able to snag some Honeycrisp, or we come away with just some Fiji.
Okay.
Or what I always thought I liked, but then every time I get one, I don't like, is the Pink Ladies. That type, because they're just a little too tart for me.
Okay.
And Granny Smith are disgusting apples.
I
cannot stand.
Granny Smiths.
No, thank you. Just too much. Cover caramel and get back to me.
I was going to say, a little caramel with it or some chocolate with it. But no, I like a good tart apple. Yeah, I mean, I like a sweet with it, but I want some tartness to it.
It's
and a nice crisp texture and a good crisp texture.
Right.
Is what,
wherever the local grocer's gotten the apples this year, they've been really good. You can tell a lot, and I'm sure you can give the listeners a little bit on this. I was always told that depending upon how the growing season went, you can tell that if the apple has a really thick skin, that it was maybe it was trying to adapt.
It was probably, and that happens with a lot of things.
Yeah.
That if you're finding things with thicker peel and things, it's generally a stress thing. If your jalapenos are hotter, they were stressed.
Yeah.
Usually lack of water on those.
And that's what some people do to try to make them hotter.
That they get their heat level up a little better. Yeah.
Muy caliente. We do got a caller, as we say, good morning, WOCA. You're in the garden with Caroline Baldwin. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Hugh. How you doing, partner?
Oh, pretty good. I think we all should thank Wisconsin for sending out this wonderful cool front that's going to come through pretty quick. And we enjoy them this time of year. But around November, other than the fact that we get rain from the cool fronts, they can keep that cooler air up there.
Right.
Yeah, at least we know when the sun comes up in the afternoon, we're going to warm up.
We're going to warm up
cool
somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, like I mentioned before on this radio station and other ones, that Wisconsin's got two seasons. It's July and winter.
I'm sure those who are really up from there, that they really do enjoy that cooler weather as compared to some of our heat.
Yeah, fall up in Wisconsin, September and October are really actually very nice months. But once you get in, of course, last year they had 6 inches of snow on Halloween. So I mean, that was kind of unusual. The bad stuff doesn't really start till about the middle of November, and then there's such a big deer hunting people. So many deer hunters up there that they're looking for the colder, snowier type of weather, especially in the northern part of the state in the middle and late November.
Sure. Yeah, they're looking for those first frosts to kill insects and the mites and things like that. So that you're a little more pleasant, a little easier to track something too. And when you got fresh snow on the ground.
Right,
that's right.
Well, let me tell you, living up in Wisconsin, there's a lot of things that die in the wintertime.
Oh yeah.
Including people.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say relationships, attitudes, demeanors.
Seasonal affected.
Talking, and I know we just recently we kind of missed on this side of town in Silver Springs. We just had a little shower here and there, and it never added up to more than just around a half an inch for the last couple of days. But I know the way they're talking with this front coming through tonight or whenever, we might get a little bit more. But I got a feeling that our regular summer type storms from the Gulf and the Atlantic are just about had it. Now it's going to be all frontal rain.
I think so too. And actually, even what I saw, what was on the news last night and this morning, a lot of this rain, we may not get the quantities that they're getting south of us. That Orlando was inundated.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were just yesterday was just like hours on hours of heavy rain.
Yeah. And so, and here we get like you, Hugh. I haven't gotten much of anything on the rain front the last week. And so, I mean, not that I'm really complaining that much, except that plants suddenly go, well, why am I not getting rain every day? And so then we have to pay attention to that it might be, if you have one of those lawns that needs a regular irrigation, you might be needing to turn that system back on to come on, a day a week to help supplement, or even 2 days, only because it's been accustomed to having that every day, that suddenly it's going, now I don't have any.
Yeah.
And or not enough. Just
well,
like
I'm
like ourselves.
For my Bahia grass to kind of like take a long nap.
Settle down. Yeah, it needs to settle down now and stop growing quite so much. But even then, the cooler temperatures are slowing it down. That's why and if anybody pays attention, if anybody gets up regularly early in the morning, it's still dark.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock in the morning now, and it's still only getting light at 7, and it's getting dark at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
So it's the days are shorter, so it does put our lawns and other parts of the landscape into it. That the semi-dormancy, the cooler temperatures, less rain, shorter days, that kind of thing. So if you need to fertilize that lawn, get it done. Yeah. Because, and this year we seem, I don't know, I would have to go back and really look at some archives and see what we were last year and the year before on temperatures in September. To me, we've cooled down.
It feels like it.
I really think that over previous years.
Let me see what I can come up with.
My Google only works on that little 5-inch screen I got here. So, I'm thinking we may be getting into, I'm not sure, but like this year has. I mean, I know we've tried to unplug and plug in 2020 for all the different things that's gone on, but this might be the year that, everybody says Florida's like hell, only hotter, that hell may freeze over. It might be another one of those years that we get some snow or just a few bad cold fronts that do some significant damage to the landscape. So it's one that I would be paying attention to. Especially if you have some more of the tender tropical plants, which we love because we can grow them here. It's just we then need to take some special care. But with your lawn, it's, again, get it to where it's ready to go through the lack of rain, the cooler temperatures, so watering, even a bahia right now, if we've gone from having, 3 to 4 inches of rain a week down to, guess what, we got a half an inch of rain for the week, you might need to, or you might want to at least supplement some of that water at least on a weekly basis for another few weeks.
Right. I was kind of wondering on average for the area here, where I think we were above rainfall for the season. I know we were warmer than normal, but I wonder if we were wetter than normal.
I don't know if we were actually warmer, but our humidities were up there because our average temperatures, the temperature itself, not the feels like, but the temperature itself was within that average of actually the 92 to 94 degrees. That's normal. It was the heat indices that were carrying us into that 105, 106. We weren't hitting 98, 99 degrees. We were in anywhere between 90 and 94 degrees. We were kind of within the average.
And to be honest with you, I'm kind of looking at a track from the AccuWeather that was listed days of temperature for highs and lows. Mm-hmm. And the way it looks according to 2019 is we were hotter.
Was it?
Just average temp. Well, the average of what they're showing for this month, looking at 2019, is the number of days in September with 30 days in September. Of the 30, it looks like we had 90s at least 25 of those days.
Last year. And then this year, actually a little bit cooler. And especially, too, what's in the 90s is a lot lower in the degrees. So it's 88, 82, 89. And then even the 90s for this year for September was 92, 90. Obviously, it was the heat index that kept it creeping. It over,
but it looks like overall our temperatures were cooler this year just by a little bit. Yeah.
In September.
In September.
Yeah. Because of the high humidity, it seemed like it was.
It just feels like it, right? It's the feels like temperature. Just like there's the cold. What do they call it? The chill factor in the wintertime.
Wind chill
factors in the wintertime. We have the heat indices, in the summer.
I've always wondered what exactly they do because it's based on humidity with the idea of the outside air temperature.
Right.
With wind chill, it was a little bit easier. They say for every 10 knots of wind, it drops like a certain degree cooler, which makes sense because if you're out of the
pulling
wind,
it away.
Yeah. It's just bitter.
Well, with us, if you're standing in the sun, it's the heat barrier.
Yeah.
All right, Hugh.
It was nice. It was nice talking, and I want you to enjoy that wonderful, cool, dry Wisconsin air.
Thank you, Hugh. Thank you.
Milwaukee's best. You got it, buddy. The beast. Well done.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Now, just looking at that from what they had posted up there for the average. When I say average, I'm saying I'm taking from last year's month, but I could read every day, and it's a lower temperature this year than what it was last year in September.
Right.
August, about the same. Hot, sticky,
yeah. And that's,
rainy.
August is the dog days of summer.
Yes.
And many times Sept does usually carry into those first couple weeks of September. And, but we've had, today's the 29th, this is the second cold front that we've had that have brought temperatures down in the last 2 weeks.
Right. Right,
and
just about.
So we're getting a fall this year. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. We could turn around in October and heat back up. Who knows? It's happened. I know for years my daughter at times would complain at Halloween, or as Halloween would approach, how do you wear a costume, Mom? It's hard to, it was the same thing. Well, when you lived up north, how do you wear a costume? You put a heavy coat over top of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're trying to get a 5-year-old to put that coat on over their Spider-Man.
Or the princess dress is nasty.
They're not going to see it.
Yep, that's where you wear long johns.
It's not even there. Yeah. Long johns are big. Yep. That's why Spider-Man was one of the best things.
Because
I wore that a couple years because you were wearing tights anyway.
You wore a big size over.
Yeah, so you were wearing either red or blue sweatpants for the outfit, which was on the outfit, and Mom just took a Sharpie and just drew webs on it.
There you go. Oh yeah, I did a few of those for how do you make a lion? Yellow sweatsuit and then just
Yep. And then it's crazy too though, because I remember some Halloweens where it was just ungodly hot.
Yes.
Like it was just humid and a mess.
How am I supposed to wear this? Even my face paint is dripping off.
Or you
can't get it to stick.
Or as well as I do, way back in the day, you had the plastic mask with just that. And it had the two nose. That's the only. Just like you could barely. That was all the air you were getting through that thing. Oh yeah, that was tough when it was hot.
Yeah.
But it looks as if, looking at last year's October.
Right.
Okay, 2019. That first week of October, we were in the low to mid 90s.
Right.
With lows still getting kind of like they are now. This is where October was that first week, and I remember that because I was doing a lot of the flight school. Remember back that last year, and it was like I thought it was October. I thought this was going to be over.
Oh, it was be a little cooler.
We're in October now.
Cooler,
I'm over this. Yeah. I've been dealing with this since June. I'm over that. But it sees that through the end of October of last year was the consistency of the 80s. But it was still upper 80s.
Yeah.
It was, we're talking here, the middle of October last year, we saw 89, 88, 88, and then 82, it dropped for a little bit, but it went right back up, 85, 90, 86, 87, and it wasn't until the end of the month there, November, we went back to cooler.
So that was a little more seasonal. In our temperature.
Because then November carried in with 76, 78, low 80s,
and
low 80s.
Even November, I believe the average or project, seasonally should be about 74.
Yep.
That it really is supposed to get below 80.
Yeah.
And hang out there.
And I've lived in Florida now. It'll be. Let's see, what year am I? 2020. So it'll be 11 years this October. Okay. So I've lived here a little over, I can say that now, a little over a decade. And November is one of my absolute favorite months down in Florida.
It can, especially the end of the month. I've spent
November.
many Thanksgiving mornings getting ready to cook a turkey on over oak. So you're up at 4 a.m.
and it's
you're
cool.
freezing. No, it was like 40.
It's freezing.
Like 40. It's
again, our definition of, but it's cold. It's cold.
You get that fire going out there. You got your sleeping bag. You got your cup of tea in hand, and you're going. I can't wait till the sun comes up.
but then,
starts to warm.
I was going to say, but then by dinner time when the sun's
and
been
by
up.
afternoon, I think we talked about this last week. Come 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're having dinner out in the yard at the picnic table, and everything's wonderful.
Yes, wonderful.
So,
As we made our way to the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, stay tuned, more In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin as we continue on this show. As we ask you if you got any questions, give us a call, 622-9622, and we'll be got some more stuff to talk about. We'll be back right after this. AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump and Joe Biden hold their first debate tonight in Cleveland.
Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace will spend 90 minutes moderating the debate, covering President Trump's and Joe Biden's records, the Supreme Court, coronavirus, the economy, the integrity of the election, and race and violence.
Fox's Jared Halpern. There are 2 more presidential debates next month. The vice presidential candidates debate next Wednesday. The president's Supreme Court nominee meets with senators today.
Judge Amy Coney Barrett will make courtesy calls as lawmakers prepare for her confirmation hearing set to begin October 12th. Meetings are planned with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senator Lindsey Graham, chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a number of other Republicans.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Democrats are refusing to meet with Judge Barrett, calling the process illegitimate after Republicans blocked President Obama's nominee Merrick Garland in 2016. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Fox News Channel. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. When it really counts, depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be humid with clouds and a little sunshine. Look for a thunderstorm this afternoon. High 86 to 90. Partly cloudy and humid tonight with a couple of showers. Low 67 to 73. Then a less humid day Wednesday with a mix of clouds and sunshine and a high of 79 to 83. Mostly sunny and pleasant Thursday. High 80 to 84. Another nice day Friday with sun and some clouds and a high of 78 to 82. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
WOCA. Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line and a new spoiler and a new truck.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
People ask me why I've worked at Palm Garden for so long, and I tell them it's the people. I love to hear the life stories, especially those from the greatest generation. Celebrating life stories is what sets Palm Garden apart, finding out what's important to them. And I love being a resource. Like Macy's Santa, if I can't help, I'll send them to Gimbel's. After all, Palm Garden is located on 34th Street. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. Call me and let's chat. 854-6262.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time, camellia lovers, to be thinking about Bob Wines for this year's camellias. Believe it or not, some camellias are budded and blooming already. Come take a look. Bob has smaller number 1 size camellias, regularly $29.99 for just $12.99. All the way up to its famous heirloom camellias. These gorgeous beauties that Bob Wines is famous for, you get 2 for $99.99. Be sure to check out the Azalea Truckload Sale. Dwarf Ever Blooming Red Ruffles, still just $3.99. But they have some larger azaleas regularly selling for $19.99, this week for $7.99. Fruit tree sale too, starting with papaya, only $9.99, all the way up to avocado, guava, and much more in the big number 5 size at just $99.99. So come on over. Early in the day for the best selection, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens is on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
That's right. That sound means you're in the garden with Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener. AM Ocala Live. I'm your host, Adam McEwen, and in the garden with Carol Ann, Master Gardener. Carol Ann Baldwin, as we've been discussing this morning, a little bit of weather.
Yeah.
One of Adam's favorite topics.
It's one of those things that just come up.
It is what it is.
It is. And weather has a lot to do with gardening and landscaping and everything.
Absolutely.
I mean, at least, here in September, we're coming into a time when we are changing crops.
Yeah.
If you don't have those, the second spring plants,
right,
and you've sort of passed them.
Yeah.
But, going ahead and thinking about our fall crops, our cooler season crops, you're starting your seed for those. You can go ahead and start, your lettuces.
Okay. Yeah.
Get your, fresh salads all winter long. Of course, we don't, most people don't think of salad for, green salads for wintertime, but here in Florida, that's when we can grow our own.
Yeah.
So we do.
And it's one of the things that is delicious. My dad growing lettuce, and it's like I said, November is one of my favorite months, and between the lettuce and cabbage, my dad makes a mean coleslaw.
Yeah,
my grandparents, if there's one thing that they will never stop talking about, is my dad's coleslaw.
There you go.
And I really just think it's just because it's not store bought and they just put a little extra.
Fresh. Yeah, it's fresh.
It's fresh.
And
incredible.
I'm sure there's a secret ingredient or two.
Yeah,
that makes it special.
Every now and then, I'll pick on them and be like, way too much celery seed.
Okay.
Put a little too much in there for me. Like, come on, but most of the time, and most coleslaws have that mayonnaise base.
Right.
That is just a matter of fact. It was disgusting. We were up north. We had a pizza place that my grandfather's like, we're gonna get chicken. We're gonna get chicken and JoJo's, and you want some coleslaw? And my dad goes, I think this is just cabbage
and mayonnaise.
And I think it was absolutely disgusting. So, but he likes to use like more of like a vinaigrette kind of base if he does it that way, or if he does like a mayonnaise base, it's real light, so it's not soaked in it.
Right,
it's just
not
it's
quite
like
as much. Yeah,
it's like what could you say? It's just
dressed.
It's dressed with it.
It's
there
been
you
dressed.
go.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
not it's not overpowering sloppy sauce that you need to drain.
But that's where I'm telling you, like that's one of the cool things about Florida. Like you mentioned, growing our lettuce. So when the weather gets a little cooler in November, then you're thinking of like how good a salad and like I said, a coleslaw and stuff like that with your shrimp broil and oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, and here in Florida, I mean, we do up in Hastings, we grow a lot of cabbage. We grow a lot of potatoes. Our potatoes don't go in yet. But other states harvested their potatoes.
Yeah.
Our sweet potatoes are getting ready to harvest. If you haven't harvested yet, let them cure so that they'll sweeten up. You'll have your fresh sweet potatoes for your Thanksgiving dinner if you're not already having a few of them now.
You don't like
I'm not a big
potatoes.
sweet
That's
potato
right.
person.
Yeah,
I'll find a recipe one of these days that'll change me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll eat them, but they're not something I'm going to go, hey, who wants sweet potato casserole with Thanksgiving? Yeah, no. Give me the green beans.
Like I said, that's me with the eggplant.
And even the green bean casserole, I keep trying to go, I'd love to change this up, but my daughter's such a green bean casserole person. I'd rather have a broccoli cauliflower casserole or a corn casserole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's like, ooh,
but the green bean casserole is such a staple. It is for us too.
And
it's just one of those things.
I may make a little broccoli casserole just because it's like, I want one this year. I think I want one this year. But it's one of those kind of things.
Gosh, I'm already getting excited. I know.
Thinking about and I think some of that is,
and I don't mean to interrupt you, but just even the thought of what we're talking about with cooler weather, some of the foods that come along with that time of year, and then we're thinking about Thanksgiving. There's going to be a lot to be thankful for.
There is a lot.
Thanksgiving is going to be, everybody's going to appreciate it.
Not only that is that it might be the first holiday that a little more family does get together. And I do wish everybody the best on that, on any of the holidays. If you got together over Labor Day, over the 4th of July, I think some of those gatherings were, maybe a little smaller, a little more subdued, and maybe even the holidays will be. I hope it doesn't take the joy out of it just with everything that's going on. Right. But we thank God, don't want to get into politics, don't want to get into medical, but we are down just over 5% positivity here in Marion County. And that's wonderful that school started a few weeks back, and we've not had a huge jump. And I think people are being smart, just because the governor opened to phase 3 does not mean that everyone needs to rip off their mask and run to a restaurant. If you're not comfortable, don't go.
Don't go. Yeah, absolutely.
But we do need to, so we do not lose our small businesses and our economies. And our small businesses also include these small nurseries. And small fresh food markets and things like that. We need to begin to try to get something back into a somewhat semblance of normalcy, because the small farmer originally, when COVID went down, what are they doing? They're tilling crop in. Because they had no place to sell it. Everybody bought toilet paper, not fresh tomatoes.
Absolutely.
So it was one of those. So hopefully we'll be and when you do go out, but do have patience with others. It is a time of year. We're coming into the fall season. We think about being thankful in November. We should be thankful year round.
That's right.
And if somebody's wearing a mask, don't make fun of them. That's their their right to do so if they're, and they can go out to eat too. You don't go, just stay home. No, it's, if you're comfortable, go out, visit our local nurseries and things like that. And our parks are opened again, both, botanical gardens and things like that. Oh, and speaking of botanical gardens, someone down, I think it was Lou Gardens, somebody might correct me if I'm wrong, if they heard the news thing, someone stole plants.
Really?
Out of the botanical garden.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, talk about lowlife.
Yeah.
And then, that's just, I hope they find out who did it. Hopefully there were some cameras at the entrances. I doubt there's cameras throughout the garden to actually see the act going on, but possibly maybe their parking lots have a camera, security camera, of someone carrying something out, with them, that's just, that's just not cool. And not just that, but on a gardening site that I am a member of, someone was saying that somebody had showed a picture of a particular plant, said, oh, yeah, I got all kinds of cuttings from, and they said where they got it. And I thought, you know what? That's stealing. That's not taking something from your friend's garden or your neighbor's garden, pinching a cutting. If everyone takes a cutting, just one, guess what? That plant's gone.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not something you do. That botanical garden, or even if it's a commercial garden at a big Epcot, Disney, someplace like that. Those plants aren't there for you to take. They're grown for the beauty and for other visitors to enjoy, not for you to steal and take home. Leave your clippers and your Ziploc baggies at home. That's not why you're there.
Right.
That's just
the gall to actually come away with that. Yeah.
To do something like that. Years ago at the Ag Center in their vegetable gardens, we had happened on more than one occasion. Once was a crop of onions. That, a whole, if you've got 36 feet, 4 feet wide bed of onions, that's a lot of onions.
Right.
And usually they were gifted out to those who worked in the gardens, other members of the Master Gardener program, and that. Not grown with county monies, not grown with, did not belong to the community. But somebody came in and harvested them all.
Holy cow.
Which means you weren't hungry.
Holy cow.
You weren't sampling.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And we had another time when a whole crop of Silver Queen corn was harvested. That wasn't raccoons. That wasn't possums. That was someone who came through and stole.
Yeah.
That, not because they were hungry.
No.
Hungry means you take 4 or 5 years. Stealing
then they're in podunk nowhere on the corner with a sign selling them.
Selling 10 years for $1 kind of thing. And just because it seems it's not there. Even a community garden is not for the community to come take.
Right.
It's for those who work those areas.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things. It hasn't, I don't think, happened in a while. I've not been a true full active member in a while. And this year, nobody was real active over there because of COVID shut the university and all activities down. But there's all kinds of different things that you just don't go do. I mean, if your neighbor's got a really cool plant, you don't go over there and take it or take cuttings without knock on the door. Hey, that's a really cool plant. Do you mind if I have a cutting?
All right.
They may tell you no, or they may say, you know what, I have some started in the back.
Yeah.
Here, let me give you one. Let me give you one.
That's usually how it goes, right? Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Thanks for holding. We do have a caller. Good morning, WOCA. You're on the air in the garden with Carol Ann. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning.
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island, and you were talking about coleslaw earlier. Each town had their own delicatessen, and they all made their own coleslaw. What didn't come in 5-gallon buckets in those days.
Right.
Oh, man.
And there were no two delis that had the same coleslaw. I mean, it was a New York thing. Some had raisins in their coleslaw. Some had pineapples in their coleslaw. Some was more vinegary. Some was more mayonnaise-y. Some had a little bit of a pepper kick to it. I mean, it was it was just a wonderful thing. And likewise with potato salads. They were all different.
Is it still like that? Do you know? Up back up there.
I've been away for too long. I imagine some of the old style delis still do their own coleslaw.
I would think that some of the family,
the bodegas, that's a newer thing that have a Spanish kick to it, and I'm sure there are different recipes of Spanish dishes also.
Oh, sure. Just different takes on it, and it comes from different cultures.
Right.
What
so
that
awesome.
family, what great grandma's recipe was. That's pretty cool. That you'd probably be one of those things that get a little bit. Oh, you gotta pick up the bread from this this bakery, and the pastrami from this one, and the coleslaw from this one.
Right.
If you got a holiday coming up, that's what you got to do, isn't it, partner? You up in Long Island. It's like here for the coleslaw, here for the potato salad, here for the pastrami, here for the bread.
So-and-so's coming from over here. Hey, make sure they're bringing this. Give them a call. Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Man,
good
that's
memories.
Awesome. Have a good day, all.
You too, partner. You too.
Yep.
Yeah, that is good. That is good stuff to think
about. Sounds like
about.
good memories, kind of thing of, the same thing with pickles. You'd also have, the delis had their own pickles as well that they would do.
And that's the good stuff. And I really, really hope that with us having this conversation, everything, those mom and pop type places did not falter to what was going on this past year, and probably some of them did, but hopefully some of them made it out,
some
because
of them will be able
that is the sad thing when you look back on it. You go like, man, they had a great, like you said, great potato salad, but now they're no longer in business. And then you hope that later on,
that maybe somebody, that maybe they struggled through, and that there was enough to.
Yes, and here's a little cute little side note to that story. Was we're talking about the gardening vegetables that come into those types of recipes. Well, this one was just fascinating. In that same note, I believe it was. So we were up north and we were having lunch. It was near the lake. I actually can't remember what it was called. I think it was just called the Ramp, but it was near the boat ramp that was near the Portage Lakes. And on the menu, they had this bean soup.
Okay.
And it was a chillier day, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds good. I'm gonna get some good bean soup as an app." And what's funny is there was this restaurant called Anthony. It was Anthony's or it might have been Anthony's. I'm a little bit wrong here, but the point of the story is to talk about how a restaurant that was no longer there, that had some good stuff that was stand out. Mm-hmm. The recipes were carried on to other people who ended up opening up another restaurant. Said, "We want that recipe. We're going to have their type of bean soup on the menu." So when somebody had asked, "Or like, is that the old restaurant that was back like 2 decades ago?" They're like, it's a friend of a friend who had the recipe that we opened up the restaurant 2 years ago, and we do our own thing because we're lakeside, so we have, we have craft beer, we have fish, we have this, but we also wanted to carry in some of the other stuff, which is really cool. That's the kind of thing that you're like, oh, thank goodness. Like at least,
and it might have been the chef's recipe.
Exactly.
And the chef went. Either came to them or were friends with them going, hey, yes, I will share my recipe.
Yeah, and then after the restaurant was no longer, but then, as things change, and there's still going to be restaurants that open up later, they were still able to carry on that so-called legacy of certain dishes.
Right.
It was pretty neat to have seen that.
Actually, I was at the dentist yesterday.
Yeah.
And so, dentist office, I don't know if they all do, but my dentist office has a TV over your head.
Oh, yeah?
So you can watch TV while they're playing in your mouth. So you are distracted from what's going on around you. And they had it on, was it Food Network? But it was like a marathon of, what's it called? It was like, what was the thing called? Because I'd never seen the show before because I don't have cable. It was all how different foods were made.
Oh, is that right?
And things like that. And there was this, and some of them were, this one was like a bagel place.
Yeah.
And this Top Star, hotel was getting ready to have a huge event. This was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And they went to this bagel place, and all this stuff is made by hand. These guys are baking overnight.
Wow.
And different things that are going on, and how it's here are these homemade bagels started out at midnight. And coming in at 8 a.m. to this place because they've got an extra 200, so they had to throw together another 200 bagels and get them out the door and delivered fresh and this and that.
Wow.
And another one was a California state fair, one of the fairs or county fair, and the guy needed like 200 fresh brioche buns for this recipe, and he goes, I'm going to trust you guys, your local bakery, to put this together, and hopefully these small bakeries and small places like that are the ones, because they're the ones who. I mean, if they made it through and made that bread on time, this chef who was producing this certain segment for this county fair was going to hire their bakery to provide this role for him on a regular basis.
Oh, is that right?
So it was one of those kind of things. So
if that gets implemented to where that stays through, that would be that's where that bun is coming from.
And so it's one of those things that you hope that these small mom and pop places make it through. Because that's your fresh local product. Your fresh, you buy from, for us, fresh from Florida. There's a great website that they have that'll show you where local produce and things like that come from to try to drag it back into garden gardening.
Exactly.
But it was such an interesting, because one was also on pickles, fresh jarred pickles, and I don't remember where they were. I want to say they're somewhere up in Michigan or somewhere up there, where it's all hand-packed and this and that.
Yeah.
And if you had an issue with everything going on now, you might not have had the staff to continue producing and sending out to some of your local fresh markets or smaller niche groceries.
Yeah.
Where it's a fresh pack pickle, and it's like, wow, I'm sitting here now. I won't be able to go home and chew. I was going home to soup, but it's all good.
No, and that's one of the things, when we dive into, and this is to hit on the people who have maybe just gotten down to Florida and are thinking about certain things of what they're accustomed to up north, or for those who are in Florida, born and raised, flow grown, is the idea of just I think the mental wellness and the physical wellness that comes along to get it back to, gardening is just how unique it is to be able to have grown your own food.
Yes.
And being able to, when we start thinking about the excitement of actually coming into Thanksgiving, is to be able to put some of those recipes together. And here I want to say that based on what you and I have talked about before. Looking at the silver lining of the results of what we're seeing now rounding the corner of this damn thing, COVID, right? We discussed how much and how busy you guys were at the DIY stores with the idea of people wanting to do their own victory gardens.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Those who maybe, like you said, generations that now aren't into this, and here we are, now it's time to kind of reap some of the benefits too when we get into cooler weather and another growing season of it. If you actually enjoyed it and want to continue with it, there's more things to be had in this great state as we come into this type of the year.
And there
it's
are
awesome.
people have been looking for the seed racks. You have to realize just because we are Florida,
right,
but your big box stores are just that. They're corporate.
Yeah.
The seed racks don't come in.
Yeah.
You may find them. I have not been to places like Rural King, somewhere like that, where it is more directed to a little more of the farming community or gardening community, agricultural kind of thing. Check there if you're looking to buy off the rack. Go online.
Yeah.
Burpees, whomever, Totally Tomatoes, all those places still have seed.
Yeah.
It takes them just a couple of days to get them sent to you.
Yeah.
It's not like, so if you ordered on Monday morning, you're going to have your seed, or you should probably have it by the end of the week.
Yep.
So it's not something that's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. They grab your envelopes, they stick them in an envelope, put a packing label on it, and send them to you. You can you're just not going to walk in the stores and find them, unfortunately.
And this is all part of with what we bring here to you with the source. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM is this little gardening show, and it is really, really popular to the idea of people are doing this for hobby and stuff. But then this year it was a little different take on it, and one of the things I'm so thankful for, and this is a little tip of my hat to my dad, my father, is I just grew up with him growing a huge garden every single year.
Right.
Now I do have some PTSD of punishments that was, you're not just grounded in your room with your Nintendo. I'm out there in the yard pulling weeds.
Yeah, guess what? You get to till the garden. You're double digging that bed. Yep.
But I can tell you this: as much as we were discussing the idea of some of the lettuces and the cabbage and stuff for this time of year that we get to, there was nothing better than when we were sitting out in the month of August in the dog days of summer, and we're literally having fresh snap green beans and sliced tomatoes. Nothing else with the tomato. Nothing else. Yeah. It's just so juicy. Just a little dash of salt,
little
cucumbers,
salt,
and then there's just there's a little protein on the grill. And this is coming right from your own garden.
Right.
And this is the type of thing now when you start thinking towards like what you're thankful for, what your priorities are now in life, and what there is to try to get some other avenues or hobbies there that alleviate the stress of this so-called society and world.
Right.
Those are the ideas that do it, and I'm thankful my dad all them years doing it.
And even the punishments taught you something, and it's a little something too that you can take. Your son's very young right now, but in another even now he could start. You could do some stuff in some little containers, little square foot gardens. Introduce, and it's not punishment, it's fun because you get to eat it at the end.
That's exactly right. That was the best part of it.
And kids love snow peas usually.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much radishes, even though they're fast and easy to grow. Green beans,
radishes. It took me a long time to get acquainted of those. But yeah, absolutely. And that's the note I want to leave it on, Carol Ann, with how much we've been through. It does feel we got a new month coming on Thursday.
We do. We're coming
and it's a new season. We feel the change in temperatures. That means it's new crop. It means it's a new chance to grow different things that we can appreciate and enjoy and taste. And that's why we have a garden show.
That's it. That's why we have a garden show.
So good stuff. Well, we have made it now to the top of the 10 o'clock hour as Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. And next week, again, if you have any questions, as we know, some things change with the lawn now. With the idea of what they can expect for the growing of the grass with the change in a little bit more dry and all that good stuff. So stay tuned next week
and we'll keep you up
for
on
your
the
questions,
weather.
and we'll keep you up on the weather. That's for sure. But for Carol Ann, in the garden with Carol Ann, that'll do it for today. Stay tuned. Up next, Sunrise Automotive. We'll just keep it going here at AM Ocala Live. Now we talked about growing the things and appreciating that. Now we can get into the stuff that'll all those plants and vegetables is your automotive. So stay tuned. Matt Gibbs up next. Auto repair with personal care. We'll be back right after this. WOCA Ocala, WOCA The Source.